Once upon a time, there was a man named Michael who lived in a quiet suburban town with his wife Sarah. They had been married for almost 10 years, and for the most part, life was good. Michael worked long hours at his corporate job, while Sarah stayed home to take care of their young boy, the house, and all the day-to-day responsibilities that came with family life. In the beginning, Michael appreciated everything Sarah did. He was grateful for her taking care of their son, keeping the house clean, and making sure dinner was on the table when he came home. But over time, something changed. He began to focus more on what she wasn't doing, rather than what she was. He'd come home from work and notice things like the laundry piling up, the clutter in the living room, or that dinner wasn't ready right when he walked through the door. "Why haven't you folded the laundry yet?" he'd ask, or "The kids' toys are all over the place again." His comments were subtle at first, but they began to wear Sarah down. She would explain how exhausting her day was, juggling their son, errands, and everything else, but it never seemed to be enough for Michael. He was wrapped up in his own frustrations, thinking she had all day to get things done, so why wasn't everything perfect? Sarah, on the other hand, began to withdraw. She stopped smiling as much. She didn't laugh at his jokes the way she used to. Their conversations grew shorter, more businesslike, and less about each other. She was becoming a shadow of the woman she used to be, and Michael couldn't see that it was partly because of him. One evening, after a long and particularly stressful day at work, Michael came home to find the house in chaos. Toys were everywhere, dinner wasn't even started, and his son was running around the house like a little tornado. He snapped. "What do you do all day?" he shouted, the frustration pouring out. Sarah didn't say anything this time. She just looked at him, exhausted, her eyes full of a sadness he hadn't noticed before. That night, as he lay in bed, Michael couldn't sleep. His mind replayed the moment when Sarah looked at him with those tired, hollow eyes. For the first time, he wondered if his constant criticism was part of the reason she looked so defeated. He had been so focused on what he thought she wasn't doing that he failed to see everything she was doing. He thought back to all the little things Sarah took care of that he never had to think about: the meals, the doctor's appointments, the play dates, the cleaning, the emotional support for their child. All these things she did without complaint, yet here he was, criticizing her over the smallest things. The next morning, something in Michael shifted. He decided to take a day off work to stay home and help. He didn't tell Sarah why, just that he wanted to be around more. As the day unfolded, he realized just how much she managed that he had taken for granted. It wasn't just about cleaning or cooking. It was about nurturing, about being present with their son, about handling countless tiny crises with patience and love. Then something clicked. When Michael noticed the laundry piling up or the toys scattered across the floor, instead of seeing them as failures, he began to see them as opportunities. Opportunities to serve, to lighten Sarah's load, and to love her through his actions. When the laundry wasn't done, he didn't ask why, he simply did it. When the house was a mess, he picked up the toys. If the kids were fussy, he stepped in to give her a break. No longer was his instinct to criticize. Instead, his mindset shifted. He started to think, how can I serve my wife? Day by day, small acts of service became his way of showing love. He realized that love wasn't about pointing out what was wrong, but stepping in to make things right without being asked. And as Michael did this, something amazing happened. Sarah began to smile again. She laughed more, and their conversations became warmer and more intimate. They started talking like they used to, sharing moments of joy instead of just exchanging logistics. Their marriage began to heal. Sarah smiled more, she laughed again. And Michael, instead of feeling frustrated or burdened, found joy in serving his family. He realized that marriage wasn't about keeping score or criticizing each other's faults. It was about growing together, supporting one another, and, most importantly, choosing love every day. Their marriage transformed. Michael realized that the key to happiness wasn't in making sure everything was perfect or done on time. It was in choosing to love through actions, in being present and willing to serve without expecting anything in return. By embracing the opportunities to help his wife, Michael found not just a happier home, but a deeper connection with Sarah. What once was a source of frustration had now become a source of fulfillment. And in serving his wife, Michael found something he hadn't expected. He found peace, joy, and the love they had once shared rekindled.